Hello and welcome to HUSS Video. We're here with Scarry Larry, the legendary punk rock and roller. He's been playing punk rock in Virginia since 1981 when he was with the Latter-day Saints. And that Latter-day Saints stuff is about ready to be reissued on HUSS Records. You should check it out. It's really great. How's it going, Larry?
Going good, man.
Thanks for doing this interview with me.
No, sure thing.
So, when you started the Latter-day Saints in 1981, you were a one-man band and recorded the whole band, right?
That was it, yeah. Didn't have anyone to play with, so had to make do with myself and just the cheap equipment that I had, I would piece together, not having a job or anything.
So what kind of gear were you playing through?
It was a crappy, I even think the old stereo had an 8-track slot in it for 8 tracks. It was so old. And then the makeshift stereo with whatever kind of speaker that I could find, because they would get blown all the time. So it was various speakers, crappy wires. Everything was just primitive as hell.
And what kind of recording equipment did you use?
A couple crappy ass cassette decks. I would play one, then play that recording really loud through the stereo, and then recording the other cassette deck, playing along with it, making a new tape. By the end of one song, I would have 5 or 6 tapes left over to create one song.
Wow. And so, how old were you when the first time that you ever thought about rock and roll, and especially punk rock, and what year was that?
Man, when it comes to age, it's hard to remember things. I know I was in my mid-teens maybe. I remember laying on the floor and seeing on the news when the Sex Pistols came over, and something in me was just man, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen. And that was about it until a few years later when I found the Dead Boys' Young, Loud, and Snotty album at my friend's house. And I remember going over there for months after that and just listening to that and staring at the album for ever. That was probably 1979 then. Just I was all my life I've been searching for a type of music that would never satisfy me. And until I started hearing the Dead Boys and good music like that, that's when I knew it was oh, there is something that cures for everyone and stuff.
So you were in playing drums in Lackey Die, and
yeah, that came right after Latter-day Saints. I was working on that because there was no one to play with. So by the time the summer was over, I think it's 81. It was bands were starting to pop up. So I kind of just put that to the side since I was the one-man band there, and I was able to play with other people with the same feelings and stuff, and which is funner too. So I kind of just dropped that and just started playing in other bands.
And so Lackey Die was one of the first punk bands, or kind of punk rock and roll bands around Charlottesville. What other bands were around at that time?
Well, I had right before Lackey Die, it was a short-lived social band. Was another I think probably the first underground what we know of punk bands in Charlottesville, which I played drums in that, and we didn't last. We played 2 little short shows which consisted most of the times of 2 songs before we would stop, be asked to stop. That we were loud, maybe too drunk, and we just sucked really bad too. But that was probably the first, and we were called social band.
Well, how long was Lackey Die around for?
Oh man, we were probably we broke up for maybe a year. So we were together from but early into '82. So the full probably about 6 years. We were probably together till 85, 86, something like that, maybe.
And what were some of the bands you played in after that?
I think after that I was starting. That was when all the crossover crap was starting to happen. So some of the band members in that band, we kind of started just a completely different band, Splatterchild, which is some crap I have recorded somewhere too. That was kind of a hardcore metal sound, kind of weirdness. I don't know, wasn't quite there, but you know, then I went from there to, I was really got into psychedelic stuff. So I was in a band called The Psychotronics, and we did like a lot of 60 garage covers. And the guitarist was really into Cramp, so we did a lot of Cramp songs. And then I did like a short metal thing. There was a band, big band in Charlottesville, Hedonistic Cravings, like a speed metal band, and I was there from the ground level starting off, but I only like played maybe 3 months. I knew it's like heavy metal just wasn't my cup of tea, so I like dropped out the band. Got a lot of people pissed off, but it was just wasn't fun for me. I don't like that kind of music, so I don't like to play it. And after that, it was just hardcore bands, man. The Elderly, Hills,
and now Los Rudos.
Los Rudos, which that's where we're heading now, playing the show, doing an interview on the road.
Well, thanks a lot, Larry. Is there anything you want to say to future generations of rock and rollers that are going to be watching this?
Hey, just do what's in your heart, man. Don't ever let nobody tell you that anything sounds like shit and it's crap, because, you know, there's something out there that touches everybody. So do what you know is real, and what you shrill is to your heart, man. Stick to it.
All right, thanks a lot, man.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching.